Welcome back, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm so excited. We are just going over some basic stuff today, but I do need you to pay attention because there is some serious matters at hand, too. You guys will be handling some professionalism, and we don't want you to fail. With that being said, I don't know if I'm going to be in frame, but you have my hands here. So let me turn this real quick. Hi, how are you doing? It's me, Professor Sky. I got my good buddy Mew right here, if you guys can see. Kind of a wall getting built up. With that being said, I'm going to go over on how to create a TCG Player account. It's pretty simple. What we're going to be talking about today is what it takes in order to do that. So, I was going to do a video where I can do kind of overlappings and all that fun stuff, but memory is adding up on the phone. So, I either need to get a new device, which possibly is going to happen, or I'm going to just continue to do lives because it doesn't save to the device. I don't choose it to save to the device. It just goes live, and then we have it on YouTube. So, you're going to kind of have to listen instead of see on this one. What we're going to be talking about is going on to TCG Player, what I prefer to use. It's a great platform. They have great communication. I've actually gotten messages from the owner himself, Rob, who has told me some great updating news on how they're trying to combine with eBay on to make it more friendly of a community between businesses and for sellers to communicate with customers. Because if you were to go onto eBay, there's going to be a price for one kind of card, a specific card, and the price is going to be different on TCG Player. So I think they're consolidating those two. With that being said, I had an eBay. Now, I still use eBay. I still want to use eBay for a little bit more things, like I have the Skeletor GX Alt Art. I actually have the Foicoco Alt, and I just need the Crocalor. So if I were to get the Crocalor, for instance, or I have the Crocalor, Skeletor, I need the Foicoco, and I purchased the Foicoco, I have the 3 set, right? So you can't really sell that, I guess, together on TCG Player. I mean, you can, but it's a little bit, it could get you in kind of a mess in a sense, and it just looks a little bit off. But on eBay, you could pretty much well describe and say, look, this is a 3 set of these 3 cards, and it's a little bit more, people understand it. You'll go over some things with me today that will show you why you can do some things, but you've got to be very well with your descriptions. This is for pretty much all ages. Now, if you are underneath the age of 18, you have to have your parents pretty much sign up your email and stuff like that. So kind of be aware. You also need to have your bank affiliated. So your parents will probably need to help you. With this being said, let's get into the video of how we're going to go and create the TCG Player. I'm going to be quick. If the phone does happen to die or disconnect for any reason whatsoever, then we will catch back up. I'll see where we left off, and we'll do a part 2. So no worries on that. We got contingencies, so to speak. Now, first things first. Since I do have a couple orders already ready to go for us, we're going to show you guys how to go about that process and how I go about that process. Excuse me. We had some flies coming on in. I was doing some yard work, and they just said, hey, we're coming on in. It's hot outside. We want some cool air today. So if you see them flying around and I'm swatting, I'm probably not going to be swatting. They don't bother me. I have fly ribbons inside the house. I put them up where the children can't get them, of course. So they're going to meet their demise, unfortunately. They wanted to come in unwelcomed. Well, there's repercussions. So what's going to be happening today is we actually have some orders. I have 2 orders I need to get done right now because I don't like to wait. That is the first rule of being a seller. I promised myself when I was going to sell part of my collection, I was actually starting to get into the cahoots with people and starting my own business, card shop. Well, that gets pricey, and that is to come in the making. But I said, you know what? I can use online. I could do TCG Player. I could do eBay. I used Facebook Marketplace there for a minute. It's a little bit cutthroat, and it's a little bit scary to go on Facebook Marketplace, but things have happened, and I've met some great people. But TCG Player for me, a little bit more, I guess, I'd consider professional. Sorry, there's probably like a skip there going on because it told me that the battery's dying. So what you're going to have there is our little desk area. So what I like to do is I like to sign a set of cards this way. And I'll show you a little bit of an example with one of the cards that I have in the back over here. And we'll just use, for instance, an energy card, okay? I mean, yes, these are all orders, but there's some that I have not sleeved yet, because these are reverse hollows from Crown Zenith or Zenith, and I do all that with all of them. So for instance, we have our Galarian Moltres right there, and then we have the English version, Galarian Articuno, and then the English version, we actually have a couple of those. So what I do is with this, with every card, those cards you just saw, I turn around and go about it like this. We have our energy card. I grab these sleeves right here, I put it on through the top, I enter it in, and then I get another sleeve that's a little bit bigger, and I go ahead and slide it in just like that. This card is double protected. Trust me, I don't think anything's happening to that bad boy. Now to assure this, I end up going and I top load it. And this card is now ready to be sent and sold. So we do that with every single card. I have binders for my collection, but for the cards that I'm selling out and sending, we do a whole different operation there, because this needs to get to that person and we need to make sure it gets there safe. So with that being that, we are going to now go into how to create the TCG Player storefront. With the storefront, you're going to go to TCGPlayer.com, okay? And when you go to TCGPlayer.com, you are going to actually end up finding yourself on this little module right here. Now, when you're on this, you're going to end up pushing this button down here, which says Create Account. Now, I have an account, but let's see what it goes ahead and tells us. We need to put our name, our email, create a password, re-enter that password once, agree, and go to create account. When you are there, it will end up going and finishing you off with everything else. It needs to do a little bit of a verification, and then you are pretty much creating of your seller portal. How you would get there as well too is you are in tcgplayer.com, or you can type in store.tcgplayer.com. But since I gave you the tcgplayer.com at first, we're going to go here to this TCG Player website, and then we are going to go to this little head thing right by the cart, and you would go down over here to sell, to account. You click account, not seller portal, that's when you are established, and then you would have yourself this, and you click create account. After that, like I said, it's pretty much all up to you. You are going to at that point have yourself an opportunity to put in your bank information. You are going to then at that point be able to put in your W-9 form information. You are then going to be able to start putting in your inventory. Keep in mind, you will start off at seller level 1, so you are only able to put up to 100 items, and I think your threshold is $500. So you can't go put like a booster box of XY evolutions or of Flash Fire in there, or base set or jungle. So you got to kind of be mindful. It doesn't, I'm not going to say it's a bothersome thing or that it is a hassle at first. Start off slow because you want to get the groove of things, or just jump right in. I mean, if you're an eBay seller and you want to use TCG Player, just jump right in, right? So that is a couple things that I've been able to do that have been able to kind of keep money circulating for the culture and for the business, so to speak. I actually have a lot of fun doing it. It makes me feel good knowing that people message back and say like, hey dude, that was amazing. There have been a couple things with the USPS that we've had to overcome. Like a package was not getting there, and it was 2 Glaceon V-Stars alt arts from Crown Zenith for one. And I even threw in a Glaceon V from Crown Zenith because I usually sometimes sell to trading card game tournament players. And I said, well, they can't play their Glaceon V-Star without having a Glaceon V. So I threw that to them, and I was a little bit upset because I had a tracking number, and I was checking the tracking on my end, and I messaged the person and said, hey, look, it looks like you haven't got your product yet. And I said, I'm looking into this. And they said, you know what? I was getting curious myself too. I was going to go down to the post office and say, what's up? And sure enough, when they did, they had to file like a dispute and stuff like, hey, I haven't gotten this. He sent it. I have the tracking number. He has the tracking number. What's going on? Well, it kind of got not lost, but sometimes it gets looked over, and you have to make a dispute in order for the postmaster to end up looking for it. And when they look for it, they kind of find it and they push it through. Well, he got his card pretty late, but he said, look, the seller was on top of it. He's the one that informed me pretty much that I didn't get my card yet. I messaged them and said, look, hey, I'm totally sorry about that. I'm glad that you got it though. There was nothing else I could do. I couldn't go down to Georgia and I couldn't force anything, look for the mail or look through the mail or nothing like that. Just patience and knowing that I did my part and I was honest about it. With that, they said, well, we ended up going to a card con this weekend, and my girlfriend ended up going and getting two Glaceons, but she likes the one that you sent more, and thank you so much. And I said, look, that's amazing. So it's great to be honest, and it's great to just know that there are good things that come back to those who do good works. With that being said, you will be having people's addresses. Make sure nobody ends up getting a hold of that stuff. You got to shred stuff. You do not have direct access to their credit cards or debit cards. I do not want it. So that is a good way for TCG Player to be kind of like the wall in between, is saying like, look, we're going to tell you got an order. Well, they also take a percentage, but it's not much, guys. It is not, you're not even going to realize it. Just go through it and say, don't give up and say like, oh man, I sold a $5 card. They took $1.25. I don't even know what they take. You don't really even notice it. The cool thing also is they consolidate your payments together. So you don't just sell a $5 card and then all of a sudden you get $5 in your account that day. It kind of ends up going, and I can understand where people are just like, I don't want to wait. Well, the cool thing is if you were to sell another $20 card that day or even later on in that week, TCG Player squeezes it together so that way you're going to end up going and getting a $22 payment instead of a $5 payment, then a $20 payment. And you get what I'm saying? They'll squeeze it together. So if you make 10 sales in a week, they're going to put those 10 sales together and then drop it into your account. I give it about 2 weeks. I say it's about maybe 2 weeks that they end up waiting for that period before they end up sending it. So I like it. I personally love it. I use it. eBay as well too. The only thing is, like I said, TCG Player, I've just realized it's a little bit more caught up and accurate with the pricings. eBay, it's just, ballpark, man. Anybody goes in there and they can manipulate the market. I'm not saying that they mean to. I'm just saying they might feel that way. They might have bought a Charizard UPC, didn't get anything, didn't get anything, and they feel like, well, I want to get my money back, so they go and overprice a card. And they can if the customer, I guess, is going to buy it, but I don't do that, and I don't know. People do buy it. Because sometimes I'll even have a card that's priced for 20% below market price, like I have been for this weekend for Father's Day, and all of a sudden I'll look at last sold pricing, and somebody overpaid for a card. Now, that person, when they uploaded the card, because I check my stuff daily, well, at first I put a card and the card was at $90. Well, of course, in 2 days, even times change. That card drops down to 80. So why I check it daily is because when people go through and look at this, they're just like, oh, this guy's overcharging. So you kind of need to be on top of it daily. So eBay, kind of pretty much the same thing, especially if they're going off last sold prices. I could understand where the prices rise on eBay a little bit more. On TCG Player, I could also understand the same thing. Unless you're following the last sold prices and you're in the market price knowing of what's going on, you could either undersell a card or oversell a card. So you got to be careful. Back to the mail. Don't let anybody get this information. I'm glad they don't give out credit cards and stuff. It would just be another hassle for people to say like, oh, well, he took my card. And that's not possible with TCG Player. I don't even think it's possible with eBay. So, mail, I know if they're in another state, it's a little bit more difficult, but you don't want a friend to come out. You don't want a friend to come out and all of a sudden end up going and saying like, hey, look, we live in Atlanta. This person ordered from Atlanta and they got their address and now they know that they're a Pokemon card collector and now they have a house to target. I'm just being honest with you. I don't wish bad on anybody. I wish nobody did bad, but these are the facts. These things do happen. As far goes as you, I'd set up a P.O. box. Because if these people go on TCG Player and find out that you have all these cards and you get it to level 4 seller, and you start being able to put a base set first edition Charizard on there, and because your threshold does rise, you can sell more expensive things as you get to higher seller levels, and level seller is the highest you can go, and after that you become a gold star. So there's levels to this, but you definitely don't want somebody, because they're smart. These people are smart. Thieves are smart. I mean, if you've ever seen videos of these people ransack a building, man, they are professionals. So be mindful. I believe that these people would sit there and see, hey, look, he's selling this card, this card, this card, this card, this card. He's sitting on some cash, man. We're going to buy $1 card just so we can get the address. And I talked to the lady at the post office. Her daughter sells cards as well, too. And she said, yep, that is exactly what they do. And I said, okay, cool. Well, we do use a P.O. box as well, too. And we have a couple ways to go about not making sure that you've got to be protected. Definitely. Even my friend, card shop owner, he has to be protected. He has to have insurance. You have to have security. I mean, guys, people are, they're dumb. That's the way I can say it. I hate to be like that. I hate to say that, but I mean, I'm like, look, if that's what you've resorted to is from taking from another man's stuff, be prepared, because not everybody's nice. And I'm not saying anything else, but I mean, yeah, you get what I'm saying, man. You could hit the wrong person, and that's your last lick. So I hope this video was useful today. I don't have nothing more else to say other than this. Make sure to end up going, and he's working on the online. I know it's coming, but he did have a TCG player as well too. He actually just brought up his own shop. He is actually helping us get some things going. We are going to be doing pre-release events. We are going to be doing tournaments, community days. We are teaching the kids how to play Pokemon TCG live and in person so they can get tournaments. We are going to be sponsoring a couple individuals so that way they can have a nice deck. They can end up going to and from their locations and getting into tournaments as well too. They will have we sponsor them. We will pretty much give them booster packs. Booster box, you're just like, really, you're gonna give them booster box? If money's flowing, we ain't stingy. We will make sure that this person is going to regionals, after that nationals. We do coaching. I do coaching myself too. I'm not the best, but I know how to play the game. Now, if you got the deck, you got that skill, then put those two together, look, we can end up going and we can doing some great things together. Well, with that being said, my partner in crime with this is Mike Farina. Hidden TCG cards, everybody. There is his number. His address is 5400 East Central Texas Expressway. That is his shop. He's not gonna he's not like that, but do not mess with him, because that is a man's business, and somebody once taught me this, and you don't mess with another man's possessions. You don't mess with my possessions, that's for sure. They also had a t-shirt shop that his parents had been running. They are great people. They have split ways though. Mike had to get his own shop because he needed his own brick and mortar, so that way he can full out go and get distributors and stuff like that. His hours of operation have changed up a little. You guys do shoot him a message if you guys want a call, and Mike will answer you guys and tell you guys, look, we have this product, stop on by the shop. It's on Google Maps. It is going to be a full-fledged business that he has a website for and everything. But like I said, just honesty with amongst another. He does do buybacks on cards. You can sell to him or you can buy cards. And he also does do trades. Mike is a very great guy to know. I've just got to put that out there. Do not mess with him. So with that being said, don't mess with anybody. This is not one of those businesses to be doing that. You don't need to scam anybody. You do not need to scalp anybody. There is people that are knowledgeable in this stuff. There are people that will call you out on it. You will ruin your reputation. I'm not saying that you do have to end up going and packing up and moving out of town, but we probably will have people that will make you feel like that, because to scam another person, you're still in from them. That's not what this is about. That's not why I did this video, to teach you and inform you. I'm doing it because I know there's kids that want to kind of fuel their own hobby here. So with that, they can talk to their parents and say, hey, look, check this video out. And that's also for the other people too. I mean, not just kids. This is for anybody that wants to sit there and start maybe like a side business. Everybody has jobs. I got a job. You have a job. They have a job. And TCG Player is the way for us to sit there and say, look, I have 5 of these cards. I don't need it. How can I get rid of it? And I don't want to honestly maybe have to drop the price on it. If this card's worth $50, well, you got to understand that that's where the card shops are going to probably give you $25, because they got to make money back too on this. So they might give you 40%, 60%, and they're not ripping you off. But how are they going to buy a card from you that's $50 worth for $50 and then sell it for $51? No, that's not the way that works. So you could take the reins, so to speak, in your own hands and do TCG Player and sell the card for its value market price. And if you feel like, for instance, this is a Japanese version, there's a way for you to go about that. You can post pictures. If you have a slab of a card, you could do the same thing. And then that's when you don't have to follow market price, but you have to put pictures and just make sure to be honest. Tell them, look, this is near mint. TCG Player has specifications for that. It says this is what qualifies as near mint. This is what qualifies as moderately played. lightly played, heavily played, or damaged. So there's all kinds of cool things on there. TCG Player, great platform to use. Everybody, much love. I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Stay happy, fun-filled, positive, and prayed up in your guys' lives. And goodbye.